We are back at BlueRiver. This time we are not walking near a drain, we are not responding to a spill, we are not looking at one isolated alarm. We are in the monthly EMS review meeting. On the table there is evidence. Water use has increased for 3 months. Line 3 is still above the site average. Cleaning in place cycles are being repeated more often than expected. COD variability has increased after cleaning operations. A spill drill showed that drain covers were not found quickly enough. An internal audit found that contractor work permits were not always completed before outdoor work started. Now, the question is, do we have documents? No, that's not the question. The question is, what does BlueRiver do with this evidence? That is the focus of episode 13. What do we do when control is not working? Episode 13 closes the loop. So, BlueRiver has already determined water-related aspects, it has determined compliance obligations, it has planned actions, it has defined objectives and indicators, it has established operational controls, it has developed competence and awareness, it has prepared for emergencies, it has monitored, measured, analyzed, and evaluated results. Okay? Now we reach the final question in this block. What do we do when control is not working? This is where nonconformity, correction, corrective action, internal audit, management review, and continual improvement come together. Now, a common mistake is to start with the nonconformity form. So, BlueRiver should start with the signal. Okay? What is the evidence telling us? Okay, an objective may not be on track, a permit limit may have been exceeded, an internal alarm may be repeated, an operational control may not be followed, a spill drill may fail, an internal audit may identify that controls are not implemented, leaks may repeat, contractor controls may fail, a trend may get worse. So, the form is only useful after BlueRiver understands the signal. Let us begin with a decision. So, pause for, let's say, 20 seconds. BlueRiver sees this pattern. Water use per liter filled has increased for 3 months. Line 3 is 20% above comparable lines. Maintenance records show repeated valve repairs. And the water efficiency objective is now at risk. What is this? Normal variation? Correction only? Possible nonconformity? An improvement opportunity only? Well, the safest answer is that this is at least a possible nonconformity or a situation requiring structured investigation. It may involve a failed operational control. It may mean the objective plan is not effective. It may show that maintenance controls are not preventing recurrence. The point is this: the data is no longer just information. It is asking for a decision. So it's important to distinguish correction from corrective action. Correction means fixing the immediate problem. For example, BlueRiver repairs a leaking valve. That is necessary, but it may not be enough. Corrective action means removing the cause so the problem does not recur. For example, BlueRiver discovers that the valve type is failing earlier than expected. So it changes the maintenance frequency, changes the valve specification, or modifies the operating condition that causes premature failure. So the practical question is, did we only fix the symptom or did we remove the cause? Not every small deviation requires a full corrective action process, but BlueRiver should know when corrective action is needed. Corrective action may be needed when a requirement is not fulfilled, when a compliance obligation is not met, when an operational control is not followed, when the same problem repeats, when a trend shows loss of control, when an objective is at risk because actions are ineffective, when an emergency response or drill fails, or when an audit finding shows a system weakness. The decision should be based on significance, recurrence, risk, environmental impact, and compliance consequences. When control is not working, BlueRiver needs a response logic. Well, first react, then control and correct the situation. Deal with the consequences, including possible environmental impacts. Then evaluate whether corrective action is needed. If it's needed, determine the cause. Implement action. Review whether the action was effective, and if needed, change the EMS. That last point matters. Sometimes the problem is not the person. Sometimes the problem is the system. The control, the method, the resource, the responsibility, the training, the monitoring frequency, or the objective plan. Let's apply the logic to repeated high water use. So the signal is that water per liter filled has increased for 3 months. So the immediate correction may be to check meters, leaks, and abnormal consumption. The investigation may show that line 3 has repeated valve failures and extended rinsing. The corrective action may be to revise the maintenance plan and review the cleaning in place recipe. But corrective action is not complete when the action is implemented. BlueRiver must review effectiveness. Did water use return to the expected range? Did valve failures decrease? Did extended rinsing stop? If not, the action was not effective. Let's see another example. Now, consider wastewater near limit events. The signal is that wastewater pH repeatedly reaches the internal alarm level. Now, the immediate correction may be to adjust treatment and increase checks. The investigation may show that the cleaning sequence creates pH peaks. The corrective action may be to change the cleaning sequence, improve dosing control, or revise the alarm response. Effectiveness is then checked through wastewater trends. Are there fewer near-limit events? Is the process stable? Has BlueRiver avoided permit breaches? This is how monitoring data becomes improvement. Let's see a third example. A third example is contractor control. So, an internal audit finds that outdoor contractor work started without drain protection. Well, the immediate correction is to stop work and install protection. But BlueRiver should not stop there. Why did this happen? The cause may be that the work permit was issued without an environmental check. The corrective action may be to revise the work permit process and contractor induction. Effectiveness is checked by reviewing future permits and observing contract work. Are environmental controls defined before work starts? Are supervisors applying the stop work rule? Is evidence available? Now, internal audit should not be limited to asking whether documents exist. For BlueRiver, internal audit should test the chain. Start with a significant water-related aspect. Then check the related compliance obligations. Then check the risk or opportunity. Then check planned actions. Then check whether there is an objective or operational control. then check competence, then check monitoring, then check evidence, then check whether the organization learns and improves. So the audit question is, does the chain work in practice? Now, to audit water-related operational controls, the auditor should follow the work. So observe cleaning in place, review cleaning in place records, compare the approved recipe with actual practice, check how wastewater alarms are handled, inspect chemical storage, review contractor permits, verify drain protection, interview operators and supervisors, follow one deviation from detection to closure. This creates a much stronger audit than simply reading the procedure. The auditor is not only checking the existence of a control, the auditor is checking whether the control works. Now, pause for, let's say, 20 seconds. Imagine you are the internal auditor. Your audit objective is evaluate whether cleaning in place controls reduce water losses and prevent wastewater instability. What evidence would you ask for? You might ask for cleaning in place recipes, cleaning in place cycle records, water per cleaning in place cycle, deviation records, operator competence checks, wastewater COD and pH trends, corrective actions, effectiveness reviews. Notice what is happening. You are not auditing a clause. You are auditing a management logic. Does the control reduce water loss? Does it help prevent wastewater instability? Does BlueRiver know when it's not working? Audit findings should help management make decisions. A weak finding says procedure not followed. That may be true, but it's not very helpful. A stronger finding says contractor work near stormwater drains was started without documented drain protection, contrary to the site work permit requirement. Well, this increases the risk of contaminated runoff and shows that the contractor control process is not consistently implemented. So, this finding shows the requirement, it shows evidence, it shows risk or consequences, and it points to a system weakness. That is the kind of finding that helps BlueRiver improve. Management review should not be a slideshow. It should support decisions. Top management should not only receive environmental information, it should use that information. So, are objectives on track? Are compliance obligations being met? Are operational controls effective? Are resources adequate? Are risks changing? Are actions effective? What must change? This is the point where data, audit results, incidents, compliance status, and business context become management decisions. Top management decisions should be visible. For BlueRiver, possible decisions may include adjusting objectives, approving resources, changing operational controls, strengthening contractor control, changing monitoring frequency, revising emergency preparedness, approving corrective actions, updating risks and opportunities, or integrating EMS changes into business processes. For example, if water reduction objectives are not on track because old valves keep failing, management may need to approve a replacement program. If contractor controls fail repeatedly, management may need to change contractor approval rules. If drought risks increases, management may need to update priorities and contingency plans. Management review should create decisions, not only minutes. So, the EMS does not operate in a frozen world. The outside world changes. drought conditions may worsen, water availability may decrease, permit limits may change, customers may request stronger environmental information, production may grow, new products may require different cleaning, new chemicals may change wastewater risk, new contractors may create different controls, community concerns may increase. So, BlueRiver should ask, do our risks, objectives, and controls still fit reality? If the context changes, the EMS may need to change. Incidents and drills are learning inputs. They ask hard questions. Was the response fast enough? Were roles clear? Was equipment available? Was escalation timely? Was the environmental impact contained? Was communication effective? What must be changed? The decision may be to update the procedure, improve training, relocate equipment, change roles, or test again. A failed drill is not a public embarrassment. It is useful information. It gives BlueRiver the chance to learn before a real incident causes damage. Now, not everything is corrective action. BlueRiver should distinguish three types of response. Correction means fix now. Corrective action means remove the cause and prevent recurrence. Improvement means enhance performance even when no nonconformity exists. For example, repairing a leak is correction. Changing the maintenance plan because leaks recur is corrective action. Investing in water reuse may be improvement. This distinction helps BlueRiver respond proportionately. It also helps avoid treating every improvement idea as a nonconformity. Now, the working tool for this final episode is the Water EMS Review and Improvement Dashboard. This dashboard is not a decorative display. It's a decision tool. It brings together the evidence produced by the EMS, monitoring data, compliance evaluation, internal audit results, incidents and drills, changes in context, objectives, corrective actions, resources. So for each input, BlueRiver asks what should be reviewed and what decision may be needed. Now, let's see a worked example. Monitoring data helps BlueRiver review whether water objectives are on track. The possible decision may be to adjust the plan or approve resources. Compliance evaluation helps BlueRiver decide whether obligations are being met. The possible decision may be corrective action or stronger controls. Internal audit results show whether controls are implemented. The decision may be to improve standard work. Incidents and drills show whether emergency responses are effective. The decision may be to update procedures and training. Changes in context show whether drought, regulation, or business changes are relevant. The decision may be to update risks, objectives, or controls. Corrective actions must also be reviewed. Were they effective? Should they be closed, revised, or escalated? And resources matter. If people, equipment, and budget are not adequate, management must decide. Let's make this practical. Pause for 20 seconds. BlueRiver review shows 5 things. The water objective is not on track. Line 3 has repeated valve failures, and contractor permits are incomplete. And also, the spill drill response was too slow, and drought restrictions are becoming more likely. So, what should management decide? Choose 2 decisions. For example, management may approve a valve replacement or preventive maintenance improvement. It may revise contractor control and require stronger permit verification. It may relocate spill equipment and repeat the drill. It may update drought-related risks and water priority rules. Now, episode 13 closes the loop. In the planning stage, BlueRiver determines aspects, obligations, risks, and objectives. In the doing stage, it establishes controls, competence, and emergency preparedness. In the checking stage, it monitors, evaluates compliance, and audits. And in the acting stage, it corrects, takes corrective action, makes management decisions, and improves. So this is not an abstract PDCA diagram. It's how the BlueRiver EMS learns. So the output of this episode is the Water EMS Review and Improvement Dashboard. BlueRiver can now connect monitoring data, compliance evaluation, internal audit results, incidents and drills, changes in context, corrective actions, resources, management decisions, and continual improvement. This is what closes the loop. The EMS is no longer a set of disconnected documents. It becomes a management system that sees, learns, decides, and improves. So this episode closes the first BlueRiver block. Okay, across the episodes, we followed one organization as it built a practical environmental management system around water. We started with context, aspects, obligation, risks, and opportunities. We moved into actions, objectives, operational control, competence, emergency preparedness, monitoring, and compliance evaluation. And now we end with learning and improvement. So the final question is not, do we have the required documents? No. The final question is, what has the EMS helped management see, decide, and improve? That is the real test of the system. Now, documents describe the EMS. Evidence tests the EMS. Decisions improve the EMS. That is why this final episode matters. If BlueRiver only writes procedures, the EMS remains fragile. If BlueRiver collects data but does not act, the EMS becomes a reporting machine. If BlueRiver audits but does not learn, the EMS becomes ritual. But if BlueRiver uses evidence to correct, investigate, decide, and improve, then the EMS becomes useful. It protects the environment, it supports compliance, it improves performance, and it helps management make better decisions. That is the point of the BlueRiver journey. Now, this is the next episode, an extra to episode 12, where we will speak about things that are not very common with environmental management. So trend analysis, tampering, according to what Mr. Duran teach us, the Deming funnel, and statistical process control. Yeah, the main question is how to avoid schizophrenics. Okay. Now, if your organization needs support with the transition to ISO 14001:2026, or if you are looking to improve your current environmental management system, I may be able to help. Okay. I also support organizations that are starting from the beginning and want to implement ISO 14001 in a practical, business-oriented way. So you can contact me using the email shown on the screen or send me a direct message on LinkedIn.